Ultimates are the name of the game in Overwatch. They're so powerful, Blizzard is considering nerfing them on live servers, making them all charge 25% slower. With this being said, this only means one thing. Ultimates are super powerful, so knowing when you should and should not use ultimates is a huge plus. Ultimate advantage is huge in Overwatch, and after the beginning points of the game where nobody has their ultimates, ultimate advantage is going to be massive, because you'll often get at least one ultimate out in every team fight. So, how and when should you use your ultimates? Well, I've taken it upon myself to separate all of the ultimates into one of 4 groups. The first group being the insta-use group, the ultimates that you should use pretty much on cooldown whenever you get them. Make sure you use them. The quick charge ultimates, which you shouldn't use the moment you get them, but you should use very frequently and pretty much whenever you see a good opportunity. The situational and combo ultimates, which are basically exactly that. Ultimates that you'll use when you see a good situation to use them, or ultimates you save to combo with another ultimate. And then we have our high value ultimates. These are ultimates you always want to plan the usage of or combo with because they're just so powerful. They take either a long time to charge or their effects are so large when used right, you really need to find a way to use them properly every time. Otherwise, you'll be at a disadvantage. After we go over all 4 groups, I'm going to use the groups as a method of telling you how many ultimates you should be using in a fight. That way you don't overuse or underuse them and hopefully help you maintain that ult advantage. Let's start off with the insta-use ultimates. These are Widowmaker's Infrasight, Tracer's Pulse Bomb, Symmetra's Teleporter, and Diva's Call Mech. Obviously. Some of these I'm sure you already knew. Tracer's Pulse Bomb charges so quick, you want to be throwing that thing down to get picks very often. Widowmaker's Infrasight really can't be comboed with anything, so there's no reason to save it unless you know you're going to get a team wipe soon. I guess I wouldn't use it then if you're going to try to combo some other abilities, but even then it's still probably worth using. Symmetra's Teleporter obviously can't be comboed with anything, and it's better when it's put down sooner, so just use that right away. And Diva's Call Mech is super self-explanatory. Those are my list of insta-use ultimates. I think you should be using those as frequently as possible, and hopefully not too many of you disagree. Like I said, some of them can be comboed. Actually, Tracer's Pulse Bomb is probably the only one that can be comboed, so sometimes you're going to want to save it for a combo, but oftentimes just use it to get a pick, because a pick can actually be a huge difference in a team fight. Up next, we have our quick charge group of ultimates, and in this group, we have Ana's Nano Boost, Reinhardt's Earth Shatter, Junkrat's Riptire, and Mei's Blizzard. Despite being nerfed, Ana still gets Nano Boost very quickly because she can heal a lot, and with tanks being still very powerful in the meta, it means she has a lot to heal. So using this very frequently is going to be great, and it's even better when you have someone on your team that can combo with it without needing their own ultimate. Reinhardt used to be the go-to target for this. However, if the speed boost nerfs go live and Nano Boost no longer speed boosts a target, I would recommend someone like a Winston, who's very good with Nano Boost. Soldier 76 could also be very great. Reaper is the same way. Heroes that don't need their ultimate to benefit from all of the effects of Nano Boost. If you have someone like that on your team, you can use Nano Boost pretty much off cooldown almost instantly, and you can get some big benefits out of it because you'll be getting it sooner than the enemy team. You may think Reinhardt's Earth Shatter is a great combo ultimate, and while it does work with other ultimates, the reason I don't have it listed as a situational or a combo ultimate is because when you land a proper Earth Shatter, one that gets 2 or more enemies in it, and your team is actually around you, you don't need other ultimates to finish off the enemy team, because anybody caught in the Earth Shatter should die to your team if you did it right, and everyone else you should be able to take because you have the advantage in the team fight. So I recommend using this more frequently because you don't need to combo it with other ultimates, which is actually one of the same reasons I've picked Mei's Blizzard for this category. Blizzard actually has one of the fastest charge times in the game passively. It only takes 3 minutes and 20 seconds to charge compared to Tracer's Pulse Bomb, which takes 3 minutes. That's only 20 seconds longer. Now, granted, Tracer's going to be dealing more damage, so she'll get it more frequently, but Mei does damage as well. Her right click hits like a truck. All of this in combination with the fact fact that when done properly, you catch 2 or more people in it and your team is around you, those people should be dead. And then the rest of the team fight should be easy for you. You don't need to combo it with other ults. And it's honestly not the best for comboing with other ults because its radius is so large, most enemies will try to escape it and they'll be very, very spread out, if not more than normal. And even the people within the ultimate's range are going to be spread out. So you're not really going to be able to get a lot of value out of many really close range powerful ultimates. The final ultimate on this list is Junkrat's Riptire, and I put this here because, once again, it's another ultimate that's hard to combo. Yet you can combo it with Graviton Surge, you can combo it with other things, but it's so vulnerable to just getting shot out of the sky or not really blowing up anything that trying to combo it with other ultimates is almost a waste. If you Graviton Surge the enemy team with the hopes that Junkrat's Tire will kill them all, but Junkrat's Tire gets shot because enemies can still shoot while they're gravitoned, you've really just wasted a Graviton Surge. That's why I think you should be using this ability very quickly. Its passive charge time isn't the best. It takes 4 minutes and 10 seconds, which is actually pretty average. It's probably a little bit above average, I'd say, but you do so much damage as Junkrat, you're going to get it faster than most heroes get there, so I would use it very frequently. Up next, we have the longest and most extensive list. This is the situational / combo ultimates. These ultimates are exactly as I described earlier, ultimates that you usually wait for a good situation to use, or you try to plan out a combo with another ultimate or two. I'm going to read off the list, but we're probably not going to hit every ultimate because it's pretty long, and if we do, we're going to be very brief. The list is Winston's Primal Rage, Genji's Dragon Blade, Hanzo's Dragon Strike, McCree's Deadeye, Mercy's Resurrect, Torbjorn's Molten Core, Pharah's Barrage, Reaper's Death Blossom, which I considered putting in the high value slot because it's very, very powerful, Roadhog's Whole Hog, Bastion's Tank Form, and Soldier 76's Tactical Visor. A good rule of thumb for this list is don't use more than 2 of these ultimates at a time. At no point should you be using Deadeye, Dragon Strike, and Dragon Blade all at the same time, or Rocket Barrage from Pharah, Molten Core, and Junkrat's Riptire. You really never want to use more than 2. 2 is the optimal number, especially if 2 of them combo with each other, or you have a good situation like we've mentioned before. Some good situational instances and combos include Genji's Dragon Blade with Nano Boost. I'm sure we've all seen that. That's a good one because Nano Boost is actually a quick charge one, so we should be able to get that one off very quickly. Winston's Primal Rage is good for distracting anybody from one of your ultimates if you don't have something to combo with. So Winston goes in, he Primal Rages, and basically anyone else can ultimate. Even Pharah, Death Blossom works because hopefully they're kind of distracted by the Winston. Deadeye can even work. It has a lot of possibilities. Deadeye is also good when comboed with Riptire. You may be wondering, how on earth does that make sense? Well, Deadeye is pretty much a zoning tool, so if you zone enemies to a small group or location, Riptire can take a lot of them out. But if you see this, if you get what I'm saying here, you'll see that you only use 2 at a time. You should never be using more than 2. That is the rule of thumb. The one exception to that may be Mercy's Resurrect because it isn't an offensive ultimate, and it's the only support ultimate we have in the situation or combo ultimates. The reason I didn't put it in high value isn't because it's not high value. Mercy's ultimate definitely has a lot of value, but I think many Mercy players use it wrong. They wait for the 5-man revive when they should just be going for 2 or 3-man revives as long as that brings their team to an advantage. Maybe brings the fight from a 1v4 to a 5 or a 6v4, just stuff like that. Gives your team the numbers advantage. So that's why I put it here. You can use it a lot more frequently than many Mercies do, and many Mercies should use it more as a situational / combo ultimate than a high value ultimate, even though it does do a lot. Up last, we have our 3, maybe 4 high value ultimates, and these ultimates are high value because of their charge time and the potential to completely waste them and mess up when you use them wrong. Some ultimates are pretty forgiving, like McCree's Deadeye, for example. If you mess it up, you're not really sacrificing too much, but one like Zarya's Graviton Surge, if you mess it up, you're in bad shape. So let's go over the high value ultimates. These are Zarya's Graviton Surge, Zenyatta's Transcendence, Lucio's Sound Barrier, and maybe Reaper's Death Blossom. And the reason I put maybe Reaper's Death Blossom is because I originally put him in the situational / combo ultimates, but the potential for him to do a lot more with his ultimate, I don't know. I just can't decide. But basically, the high value ultimates are ones that take a long time to charge and have giant payoffs when used right. Normally, you want to try to combo one of these with one situational or combo ultimate. And similar to the combo ultimates, you never want to use more than one high value ultimate at a time. For example, stacking Transcendence and Sound Barrier is the biggest waste ever. You're essentially literally wasting one of those ultimates. So for Transcendence and Sound Barrier, make sure your two supports, if you have those two supports, are definitely communicating when they are going to use their ultimate depending on the situation. The Lucio needs to be saying, hey, if we get Graviton Surged, you need to do it, Zenyatta, and if we get hit by something else, I don't know, Reaper's Whole Hog, I'll do it. Something like that. Plan it out. Or it could be even more basic than that. Maybe say, Zenyatta, you use yours first, and then if we still need help, I'll use mine. But make sure you have a plan to never use those at the same time. You also really don't want to be using those at the same time as Graviton Surge, because a well-placed Graviton Surge will mean you can hopefully avoid a lot of damage from the enemy team, because all of them are going to be clumped up, so you can easily avoid the damage and hopefully break line of sight when you're about to die. When you're using Graviton Surge, that is the ultimate you're going to combo with. It can pretty much combo with any offensive ultimate in the game, so make sure you're planning it out. Make sure you know when you're going to use it, and make sure you use it well, otherwise it's going to be a huge waste. Let's just bring up all of the ultimates once again. They might be kind of tiny, but here are the 4 groups of ultimates color-coded for your convenience. The light blue ones, as we said before, these are the insta-use ultimates. Don't ever feel bad for using one of these unless you were planning on comboing them, like maybe a Tracer's Pulse Bomb with a Graviton Surge. But generally, you can use these whenever you want. The green ultimates are the quick charge ultimates. Use these as frequently as possible when you don't think the enemy team has a way to counter them, or potentially sometimes save them for combos, but really try to use them very frequently because you get them pretty frequently. The situational and combo ultimates are the ones you never want to be using too many of. And if we go back and think about it, the quick charge ultimates you don't want to be using too many of either. Another general rule of thumb is never use more than 3 ultimates at any given time. That doesn't mean a whole team fight. You can separate ultimates to use most of them in one team fight, although it's not ideal. What I'm saying is don't pop your Death Blossom, your Diva's Self-Destruct, your Dragon Strike, and all of those damaging ultimates at once. If you're using a high value ultimate, one of the red ones, make sure you're only using one yellow one and potentially one green one as well with it. If you're not using a red ultimate, make sure you're only using a maximum of 2 ultimates that are from the yellow category and 1 from the green category. And if you don't have any red or yellow ultimates, you can pretty much use the green and the light blue ones freely. That is what I have gathered in my time in Overwatch and how I've watched pros play. Some common ultimate combos include Graviton Surge into Nano Boosted Reaper, Nano Boosted Genji, Nano Boosted anything, if we're going to be honest. Graviton Surge is the activator for basically every team kill. It works super well. So if you take away anything from this video, since most combos involve Graviton Surge, at least take away this. If you're going to Graviton Surge, only use one offensive ultimate to kill the enemy team. You don't need a Dragon Blade and a Death Blossom when they're all grouped up so tightly, usually. It's just kind of a waste when you do that. So try to combo your ultimates accordingly. Make sure you're not using too many. Follow those rules I've said before, and hopefully you should be better off. I hope this video was informative to you all, because I honestly found it hard to describe how many ultimates to use in such a short period of time. So if this was helpful, be sure to leave a like down below and tell me. And if it wasn't, I'll try to make a follow-up video. I could make it a lot longer, and we can talk about it a little more. Hopefully you all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys all later. Lone Hawk out.